Ba papa, ba mama, balandi nyonso bolingaka émission na biso ya vie sociale mbote na bino. Merci beaucoup pour na kolanda nini ezoleka na kati ya communauté na biso. Voilà, lelo ezali journée ya ba mama, journée ya basi, Mother's Day. Tozolo ba pona tina biso ba mama. Il faut biso ba mama to ba valeur na biso. Valeur à maman, il faut biso ba mama to telema to kende ko déclarer ngo partout dans le monde. Tozana ba mama tozo kende poto lo ba pona tina valeur à maman. Valeur à maman ezaka ka kolia komela te ko fana na ndako. Il faut toyeba ko luka ndenge nini to koyeba ba droit na biso ba mama. Yango tozo ke na parlement na ba mama mususu bayaki ba mama nyoso ya monde entier to kokuta na parlement to kende ko lo ba pona tina ya bo mama. Tant que tu as mis le boson à binot, oh ezali politique mais tozo kene poto défendre valeur à ba mama. Oza la politicienne te aussi longtemps oyebi valeur na yo mama telema boya to sangana to kene ba pona tina valeur à ba mama.
So welcome to our house. I know we're going to have a fabulous couple of hours, but I have the prerogative also of chairing the session, which means that I'm boss. But more importantly, we have got some fabulous speakers here today, and each one of them will bring very different perspectives to the discussion. And I always say that I'm always bowled over with the level, the quality, the commitment and the passion that people come to these events with. And as always, Margaret, Robin, we have oversubscribed the room. I will no doubt be in trouble again. And I hope that the door is now firmly shut. So nobody else can come in. But it just shows you how important everybody here today takes the issue of International Women's Day and issues around women and gender as a whole very seriously. So welcome to you all. I always congratulate Robin and Margaret for bringing together people that it's got nothing to do with faith, it's got nothing to do with religion, it's got nothing to do with any of those things. It's about bringing people of all faiths, all religions, all nationalities together, because the one thing we all share is that need, that desire to get rid of the disparities that we see in the world still today between men, women, girls, boys. I will introduce the guest speakers as they are to speak. I will do very short intros on them because they themselves are statured figures that, to be quite frank, whatever I said wouldn't be enough. But I would like to say a little bit about the importance of International Women's Day and everything that goes around it. It allows us to reflect on where we have reached in some countries, but it also allows us to explore where there are many places still on the planet where we have huge disparities, huge inequalities, and we need to make sure that we all collectively work together to get rid of them. Now, I'm always grateful for the presence of our honorary sisters in the guise of our brothers here today, and of course one is not a brother, he's my husband, but
he's a good husband.
But I do always say we will only make changes when both men and women are on the same page, that we share a mission together, and that mission is supported by men and women collectively. I don't know how to fathom how, even today, we can treat human beings so horribly just because when they're born a girl. How we can actually put them on the bottom of the heap when we think that they may be a burden to us. And I think we need to change the dynamic of the discussion and say, look at the benefits of having a girl child in your homes. Look at the benefits of giving economic independence to girls and women to be able to contribute to the wider society. And here in the UK, the debate, of course, is going on further. Today, still, in a developed country like the UK, we have 1 in 4 women still victims of some sort of abuse. It's not good enough. We have 2 murders a week of women dying in their homes. That's in a developed country like UK. So I would ask you all, when you leave here today, in whatever tiny way you can, whether it's through your work, the places you work in, is to say, what can I do to make that difference to somebody else? Because by us all doing our individual bits, to be quite frank, it's like a spoon in an ocean. If we all keep putting in, we will all benefit something out of it. And I think we really do need to work to a collective goal, whether it's for our sisters in Africa, in the Middle East, in South Asia, even in parts of Europe today still, there is huge amounts of disparity and abuse going on. So I think we're a long way. We've made some progress. I always say we've made some, but is it enough? No. And we've got a long way to go. And I think sometimes we can get slightly engrossed in our own lives, that we sometimes forget that there are too many people still that are out there desperate for change. So going forward, I will now pipe down, but I will say to you, please use this forum today to listen to our fantastic speakers, but also to be able to contribute in debate. So I've strictly given all speakers 10 minutes. Maximum. And Meryl, my colleague from the House of Lords, knows that I'm a terrible chair. I stand up and start looking agitated when people start going over time. So please, speakers, the golden rule is let the audience remain hungry for more. And so that a way, when we come to question and answers, you can actually then work on what you've said to people. Sue, another colleague from the House of Lords has just arrived, Lady Garden. So welcome to you all. Our first speaker is my colleague from the House of Lords. She's a Liberal Democrat peer. But the one thing that I can say about Meryl and myself is that we do share a commitment and a passion about making sure that we break down those barriers and raise the issue over and over again. So, Baroness Hussein Echi, would you please take the floor?
Thank you very much. She's Sandy to me, and she's a friend. Thank you very much for that generous introduction, and I will stick to the limit, because I don't want to invoke your look. It's scary. And I'm very privileged to be here addressing you. There's such a wealth of experience and knowledge already in this room, so I'm just one of you, and I just want to add my voice to the issue in hand. And I've been asked to talk about the lack of female representation, and thank Margaret and Robin as well for organising this fantastic event, commemorating International Women's Day, and again, coming together to add our voices into what needs to be done. As Sandy said, we've come a long way, but my goodness, we're in the foothills when it comes to really getting parity and equality. And I think, as Sandy mentioned, here in the mother of all parliaments, we are still only 22% women. It's lamentable that we are 58th in the world ranking of the percentage of women parliamentarians. 58. Rwanda is at the top. Scandinavian countries, other countries like Uganda do better than us. They have quotas, and that's a very controversial issue here in the UK. And I just did a bit of research last year when I was speaking in the International Women's Day. I wanted to know how many women were ever elected. Universal suffrage was in 1918. It's nearly 100 years in this country when women were first allowed to vote. So 1918 to the present day, how many women have ever been elected? And the number is 369 have ever been elected. That is just 8% of the total of all MPs. If you count out all the MPs that have ever been elected since 1918, it is just 369 women. It's just, I couldn't believe that figure. It's shocking. We've made some progress. We've got 147, as I said, MPs currently. But really, 369, it isn't even half. There are 650 MPs in the Parliament. So when you think we've only just had over half ever elected to Parliament, it really is quite a stark figure. Only 4 women out of 22 are in the Cabinet. And it's gone down. It was 8 before in previous governments, and it went down to 4, and it's not very good. So I say there are 13 million women in this country. Why is it so difficult to find 325 women to become members of Parliament? What are the obstacles? Because I don't believe it's what I'm told constantly, that women don't come forward. Women are not interested. I don't think how depressing was that? Most men know about it, but frankly, I think women might know a little bit more about it. So I think it's a job to do to remind the media, to remind the BBC, to remind politicians. We need to see more plurality. We want to see diversity in all our public spheres, and I think we've all got a job to do. And seminars like this play their role in raising the awareness and keeping it high up on the agenda. Thank you.
And I would like to thank my colleague for sticking to time. And actually, did you notice you can get all your main facts done within the time? But Meryl's raised a huge number of concerns, and I'm sure there'll be opinions and questions around that. Now we're going to go to our next speaker, who is Sutherland, who was the former Governor General of New Zealand. We are very pleased and privileged to have him here today. He is currently the chair of the Commonwealth Foundation. And I did ask him earlier, I said, how long does it take to get to New Zealand? And then he told me it's 2 times 12 hours. At which point I thought, okay, I'm so glad I'm in a country where it literally takes me a few hours to get anywhere. But he's going to talk to us about women of the Commonwealth in advance of civil society. And I think this is a very key area that I'm sure we will get some learning away from what the Commonwealth Foundation is going to do. Sutherland.
Baroness Verma and ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Baroness, for your warm welcome. You'll excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, if I opt in favour of sitting instead of standing. I'm one of these people who spent half of his life as a lawyer, standing in courts, appealing to juries and to judges, and another almost half of my life as a judge, sitting in courts. And if it meets with everybody's approval, I'll remain seated. May I begin, and I intend to keep to the time, may I begin by acknowledging this historic room in which, with the surrounding rooms of this House, reflects the ideals of parliamentary democracy that have characterised this country and many other countries that have followed the tradition of representation leading to government. And it's interesting, I have observed that at the front of the room are the forebears of William Pitt, his father to your right, and appropriately his mother equally prominently to your left. I'm pleased to add a contribution as a New Zealander, a country on the other side of the world that has adopted the traditions of Parliament and the rule of law that apply in this country. And although there are the matters that the Baroness has raised in opening of a lack of equity and a lack of parity, those issues are known to us in our country as well. But I'm pleased to say that within the last decade there was a time when the persons holding office as Governor General, Chief Justice, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition and Speaker of the House of Representatives were all women. That is...
That allowed you to think about what more we can do to assist you, in trying to make sure that those countries in the Commonwealth are playing a much more proactive role. Some are doing it better than others, but there is a lot, as you rightly said, there's a lot to be done. I'm just going to call upon Margaret Alley, who brings all you fabulous people together with Robin. And you know, these events aren't easy to do. And I can't tell you, this woman emails and texts me at ridiculous hours in the morning just to make sure that I'm on message. But I would like to say that unless we had people like Margaret, and I can't see where Robin is, Robin, if we didn't have people like that, you know, it would be impossible to really channel the energies that we all collectively have in this room and outside of this place. So, Margaret.
There are too many and good speakers today, and we've kept a very wonderful voice of mute for the best for last. She's going to speak, and wonderful other ladies are coming after me. But I just wanted to I've been thinking about another perspective, the UPF perspective of women, or women's position. It's really interesting because we often, when Meral was speaking, I was going, yes, 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 and when Sandeep was speaking, I was saying, yes, yes, yes. But it's important to understand, why do we want women somewhere? You know, why do we want them to be in Parliament? Why do we want them? I think European perspective is that we are all one humankind, a family of mankind, and we are all equal value in front of God and mankind. Men and women have equal value. This is so important to understand, and that we may have different positions at some time in our lives, depending on what arena we're in, but we still have that value. More importantly, women have very special qualities. I'm not saying men don't have special qualities, but we see that all the time, men's special qualities. But what we are lacking, what we are not seeing, is women qualities demonstrated in the public place. You know, women are the peacemakers. For heaven's sake, we all have mothers. You know, without my mother, our family would not survive, honestly speaking. The peacemaker, the love keeper, everything, the reconciler, the compassionate, the loving, the kind, always went to mother. I'm not saying men don't have sometimes those qualities. Please don't be offended. However, women have it in more supply of it. You know, more of that, of those qualities that we need. I think it was Christina Lagarde who said, if Lehman Brothers were only Lehman sisters, we would be in this mess today. And this, I believe this absolutely. You know, it's true. It's because there's something else they bring to the boardroom, to the house, to the party, to the parliament, and to many other places. Now, you know, Robin kind of brought to my attention something that actually the wisdom of United Nations Security Council, when they adopted Resolution 1325 on women and peace and security. This was in October 2000. The resolution reaffirms the important role of women in prevention and resolution of conflicts, peace negotiations, peace building, peacekeeping, humanitarian response, and in post-conflict reconstruction, and stresses the importance of their equal participation and full involvement in all aspects. This is interesting. I mean, amazing. It's how many years? 14 years later. They even go further to say, my friend Charlotte will be amazed, to say that here, United Nations peace and security efforts, it also calls on all parties of conflict to take special measures to protect women and girls from gender-based violence, particularly rape and other forms of sexual abuse. Today, after 14 years in many countries, not least Hungary, where my two great women there, Victoria and Charlotte, they worked so hard to bring this element of abuse still, you know, to our attention. This is in our government here in Britain. William Hague took that to be a very important kind of point of the G20, wasn't it? So therefore, you know, we are all trying to do, but if we don't bring women to the forefront, if we don't bring women in Parliament, we don't bring women wherever it is that we have to bring in public affairs, we will not be able to use these qualities. If United Nations had the wisdom to put this resolution, we civil society must have the wisdom to implement this. It's so important that, of course, we can put things on paper and say, and they can sit down and make very good resolutions. If they're not implemented, what's the use of that resolution? I'm not saying not all resolutions are implemented. There's lots of strides taking place in really trying to get resolutions, you know, being implemented. But you know, where it is our business, women's business is our business. We must really work with civil society to make these things happen. You know, interestingly enough, our founder is a UPF. Hakchan is our leader now. She's a woman. But actually, they said that peacekeeping, women peacekeeping force must be in every country. And I thought this is a bit crazy. But actually looking at this, it's not crazy at all. If women were in peacekeeping positions and worked with men that do the actual work, they will give the perspective that is absolutely necessary to make the job done. So I call upon you, you wonderful people, to really think what we can do, like Sandeep said, like my dear friend Baroness Verma said. It's very important that wherever we go, we bring these points. We learn something from this room, we learn a lot of things from speakers. Let's bring it to our communities, to our societies, and to try and work towards it. And thank you very much for coming here. And we hope to see you again, and we look forward to hear you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Respect to all those gentlemen who are here today, and of course you're sitting very close to me from the left. It is better to make friends with your neighbour. In Arabic, the word rahma denotes the womb, which caters and gives protection and support and well-being to another life. Inspiring change can not come without 50% of the population that we are who gives birth to the other 50%. How is that possible? How is that possible at all? Whilst we have come a long way in our own country, where women at one point had to chain themselves to get the vote, there are women in many other parts of the world where they do not have this kind of platform. And we have to acknowledge this. Women today who do have a platform must stand by those who are suffering in silence. And I can assure you that there are thousands upon thousands of women within our own country who suffer in silence, whether that is domestic violence, grooming for sex, child abuse, or those mothers, those wives, those sisters who are being punished because their husbands have been arrested on charges, rightly or wrongly. We have these women within our own country who are suffering. What do we do? How do we assist? My work as a Muslim woman, and I've been informed that I'm the only Muslim woman anywhere in the world to be appointed in an Anglican cathedral to develop conversations on difficult issues, whether that is to do with violence against women or whether that's to do with terrorism. How do you bring... As a chair of Women's Voice, we started a charity, which is now a charity 3 years ago. It was to provide a platform for women to get involved in their civic duties, to speak up. But you know, sisters, and some of my brothers here too, it's not easy to speak up when you believe that your faith, your culture does not allow it. That's a big obstacle, a big barrier. In 3 years, we have seen 3 women go through university, college, and they're now working full-time as educationalists. And that could only have been done when we became politically incorrect. I'm a very politically incorrect person.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Now, our next speaker is Justina Mutali.
Thank you, Baroness Belma, fellow speakers, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My contribution this evening is based on International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde's idea of daring the difference in order to bridge the gender gap so that we can enable women to participate on an equal footing with men. I acknowledge that as part of the International Women's Day celebrations, we celebrate women's achievements and their wisdom. We celebrate those women who have taken on the world, women who make things happen, women who have that captivating beauty and strength of personality that embraces life in all the endless variety, women who have transformed their own lives and the lives of others through their hard work, guts, and acts of compassion. We also recognize and celebrate inspirational women. We have women doctors and directors, politicians and poets, scientists and heads of corporations, and charities who make a positive impact in the 21st century. We celebrate women who today have economic power as consumers. We have women that have political power as voters, women that have cultural power as talented citizens. We also have women that have ecological power as conservationists. We also celebrate the power of women over men. The pages of history, ladies and gentlemen, are filled with records of great leaders, great men leaders, whose achievements would be traced directly to the influence of women. Most men in history, and to date, have accumulated great fortunes, achieved outstanding recognition, and climbed to great heights of achievement because of the stimulating influence of the women in their lives, who would include their wives, mothers, sisters, aunts, or any other women around them. It has been said that great men like Napoleon Bonaparte are said to be one of those. It is said that when inspired by his wife Josephine, Napoleon was irresistible and invincible. We are all familiar. We are in an era, ladies and gentlemen, where attitudes and behavior towards women have changed. And thanks to the struggles of suffragists, feminists, and enlightened men. As an African woman, I'd like to pay homage to some of the most inspiring women from Africa, and also from the Bible, and their actions with freedom. Thanks to the 100 women from 17 African countries who in 1911, 100 years ago, agreed to the idea as a strategy to promote equal rights for women.
Those real, raw stories of women that have shared their vulnerabilities, and so that we could actually learn from those. So the book is very rich in terms of content, and I feel comfortable with selling the book actually, because the profits are going to charitable projects that affect kind of young women and children that need our support. So it's a really important book from very lots of different angles. From inspiring women leaders. So just to kick off and to set the tone, inspiring change, it's got one fundamental component to it, and that is it requires inspiring leadership. You can't make change happen if you don't have inspiring leadership driving it. So in terms of the book itself, there were some core underpinning reasons why I decided to embark on the research in the book. It was in pursuit of inspiration and what that looked like, and to find some role models. I've been passionate about this agenda for some time, but there's lots of noise in the system. I think we are making great strides. I think the fact that we've got huge media coverage around the women's agenda and basic human rights is very powerful, because it creates a voice for women. So I want to recognise that actually we are making great progress. And that can happen in your businesses or in your communities. Until we start to take responsibility for others, actually we won't make shifts in our communities as well. So that's hopefully within my 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Lee, and I'm sure that it's not about what's in it for me. And I think that's something that a lot of people have lost in the messaging on the way. Now we go on to another brilliant speaker, Marcia Thompson. And Marcia is the Deputy Director of Shout Out UK, which is Britain's only youth-run alternative political news. It's got 4,000 journalists in 100 countries. Marcia.
Thank you. I'm 22 years old and I have a 3-year-old daughter. Yes, I'm a young mother. Yes, I'm considered by society a stereotype. And yes, I hear the whispers and I feel the disapproval, judgmental eyes. But in the words of Maya Angelou, you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, but still like air, I'll rise. I went to university when my daughter was 9 months old, and in 2 months I'll be graduating from university with a 3-year-old. I'm not young. just a young mother, but I'm a young woman. I'm a daughter, a sister, and a friend. I have ambition, dreams, direction, and a future, but most importantly, I have a voice. There's only a few women leaders, but yet we scrutinize, belittle, and judge young girls, forgetting that one day these young girls will grow up to become women. Mm-hmm. So let's write a letter to our daughters. Dear daughters, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are gifted, and you belong. You carry life's weight on your shoulders, but still you stand strong. Don't be afraid to walk in the dark, just as long as you follow in your heart. The ignorance of others won't pierce like a dart. Demand respect and take every step to become the queens that you are. Break boundaries, go for what you want, and let your voice echo for centuries. No matter your age, no matter your race, no matter your circumstances, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are gifted, and yes, women, we do belong.
QEI Plus London, la signature de votre beauté. Seul point de vente sur tout le territoire britannique. Le centre dermatologique et cosmétologique QEI Plus, situé au 102 Seven Sisters Road, Holloway, Londres, N7, 6A.
Vous avez le réparateur, le powerful, le sérum et la crème du jour. Voilà, ça c'est pour votre gamme.
Merci beaucoup.
Bonne journée.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Lorsque vous associez la beauté, les cheveux et la peau, c'est quelque chose de parfait. Et en plus de cela, nous avons un centre esthétique qui prend soin de votre peau, un salon de coiffure qui prend un grand soin pour vos cheveux. Nous vous recommandons toujours de venir nous voir parce que si vous avez l'originalité.
Faites attention à la contrefaçon, il y en a plein sur le marché, mais une seule adresse, 100 à 102 Seven Sisters Road, London, N7 6AE.
Final speaker, my colleague Baroness Sue Garden. Sue has been a Minister for Higher Education and retired off the front bench because she needed to go off and do even more important things.
And I have to say, when I got this wonderful invitation last week and replied and said, yes, I would like to come along, I'd rather imagined I would be sloping in at the back, listening to you all, and then sloping quietly out again. And I had counted without Margaret and indeed my good friends Sandy and Meryl, who suggested that I might wish just to say a couple of words on such a splendid occasion. But it's been really inspirational to listen to you all this evening, so thank you for that. Meryl was mentioning the shortage of women members of Parliament in the Commons, and I think it is one of the very special things about the House of Lords that although there are only about 20% of women in the Lords, they are very prominent. They are on the front benches. The Lord Speaker is a woman, the Chief Whip is a woman, the Leader of the Opposition is a woman, and Sandy and I shared time on the front bench. She's still on the front bench, actually. But, as I say, I thought somebody else deserved a chance to have the fun. So I stood back and haven't really regretted it because a very able woman has taken my place on the front bench and given that opportunity, which is great. But I think when we talk about how far we still seem to have to go in equal opportunities, I would just sort of go back briefly to my time when I was at university 50 years ago. I went along to the careers office. I was at Oxford. It was a great privilege to get in there. It was a load of luck to get in there. There were 7 times as many men as women. There were 7 times as many places. So those of us who were women all felt a certain sort of responsibility that we'd had all this luck to be there. And I went along my 3rd year to the careers office and said, here I am. What sorts of things can you suggest I do? And she looked at my hand and said, oh, you're engaged to be married. I said, yes, I am. What does your fiancé do? Oh, I said proudly, he's a fellow student and he's an officer in the Royal Air Force. Right, she said, you have 3 options. You can be a teacher. I said, well, I've got lots of teachers in the family. I really didn't think I wanted to be a teacher. What's the second one? You can be a secretary. I said, well, I'm getting married fairly shortly. I haven't really got time to go to secretarial college. What's my 3rd option? You are unemployable. Now, actually, of course, she wasn't far wrong. We moved 24 times in the next 30 years, and I drifted into teaching. I did work in offices in various forms, and I was unemployable on numerous occasions. So, so she wasn't far wrong. But I cannot imagine now any young woman in any situation being given that sort of advice. There would be other options, there would be other alternatives, and part of that, of course, is the way in which I regretted marrying my husband, I have to say, but it put into context the fact that I was not myself going to have a stellar career. But when I was thinking about this, I think also of other areas where women actually are achieving, and one of them, and I was prompted by the mentions of business there, that the City of London, which is a very, very male-dominated organisation. I got involved when I was working for a City and Guilds, an awarding body which was linked to the City of London and the livery companies. And the City of London has had a Lord Mayor of London for 800 years. This year, we have the 2nd woman in 800 years to be Lord Mayor of London, Fiona Woolf. She's an amazing we do need a few more. But she is amazing. And in some ways, and somebody said to me the other day, I wish people wouldn't keep saying Fiona is only the 2nd woman. She is the Lord Mayor. We shouldn't be focusing on the fact that she's a woman. But actually, if she's only the 2nd one, that's something that's pretty exciting to celebrate. And there are now 109 livery companies. They were founded, some of them in the Middle Ages. Now, these are organisations which should actually be very appealing to women because they were founded to promote the profession or the interest or the industry people were involved with an absolute imperative to work for education, to train those coming on, and to raise funds for charity. In some of those early days, it was for the widows and children of the trades and the crafts people. But you would have thought those are things which actually women ought to be good at. But over the hundreds and hundreds of years they've been going, there have been very few women who became masters of their livery company. And I had the privilege of being master of the World Traders Livery Company, one of the modern ones. We actually have founded a little society of lady masters. We're still masters, you see, we're still masters. The big difference, if you're the mistress, that means you're the wife of a master. If you're a lady master, that means you're actually still a master. You're still a master. I think Lee made some reference to language. I think we still have these terminologies which rather sort of presume that there will be one gender rather than the other which is taking that job. But that, I think, is another role where it's quite 109 companies now, and if you see all the masters process, if we get into double figures with women, we're doing rather well. And I have to say, if we have occasionally somebody from a black or minority ethnic origin in those companies, again, we rejoice that actually little bit by little bit, the City of London is becoming a little bit less male and white. And I think that can only be a good thing. But I would, because I do want to go on to listen to other people's, it's been inspirational being with you today, and thank you very much indeed. And I think we will feel we've got there when people cease to remark on the fact that it is a woman who's doing a role. They see a person who's doing a role. Person. Thank you very much.
I'd like to say, on behalf of all of us, because today we have got about 20 minutes that we can open the floor to. Is that right, Margaret?
Yes,
Am I on the
yes,
right
yes.
track there? So what I would suggest is that if there are questions or comments, that you keep them short and snappy. Those three first.
Thank you very much. My name is Pauline Long. I'm a television presenter. I have my program on Sky Channel 182. I'm a mother and I'm also a serial entrepreneur and I'm a sister to you all. The theme for International Women's Month, I call it International Women's Month because it carries on the whole month, is inspiring change. When we talk about inspiring change, people talk about unity, people talk about collaboration, people talk about, bringing the community together. But I say, you cannot unite, you cannot collaborate if you do not have human love. So I'm a self-confessed agent of human love. Because without human love, we will not have rape in the Congo. We will not have child marriages in Nigeria. We will not have children being raped in Zimbabwe. We will not have murder in Kenya. We will not have what's happening in Ukraine. So I think human love on top of everything is very important.
Thank you very much. My name is Victoria Dimanja from Justice and Liberty for Women. First of all, I would like to thank Margaret and Robin for the tremendous work they are doing supporting the mothers of Congo. Thank you so much. My comment is that some of us, we are stuck in the middle. I'm glad that we have a women politician tonight because you all talk about supporting our sisters. Some of us, we are stuck in the middle where we are trying to be the voices of the voiceless women back home and trying to get involved in the politics here. So my comment is that we need more support from women politicians to help us, to support us with the tremendous work we are doing here with UPF and other organizations so that we can support women back home and try, because in our country, the sexual violence, the rapes, the abuses are increasing. We've been coming here years upon years, trying to raise the same issues.
Okay. I'll get a response back to you on that one from Lady Hussein Aji. Just 1 second, and can we just have that?
Amanda from Sierra Leone, and can I say my sincere thanks to you for hosting this forum. I'm just making a few comments on my sister from Rwanda to say that women in Sierra Leone have come a long way. We've tried to break the glass ceiling. For example, the Chief Justice of Sierra Leone is a woman, the Solicitor General is a woman, the head of the NRA is a woman, and we're making strides. Even myself standing here, I'm not trying to, about myself, I'm a director of a board, the Road Maintenance Infrastructure. And we're there to allocate funds for roads infrastructure. And the question about the war, as you all are aware, Sierra Leone went through 12 years of war. And at this moment, the women are there. We're going through a constitutional review. And we're going to see that we entrench a clause whereby equality for women is there as a law.
I'll promise you I'll be quick.
Originally, I was going to ask you to speak, but it was not so right.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you, Baroness Verma, and to all of you for your very inspiring stories. The focus of this session is on inclusion and equality of women, but I believe that in order to achieve that, it is very important for women to be financially independent. My foundation, the Sherry Blair Foundation of Women, works with women entrepreneurs in emerging markets. It helps them to sustainably grow and build their businesses. Why I think it is important for women to be financially independent? Because once women are independent, they have greater control over their lives and over the lives of their children.
I want to say something about the church leader who always says, and I'm reading books, he says the first oppression and discrimination to people of humanity started when men started discriminating and oppressing women. So therefore that discrimination continued in the powers and the religions and the colors of the humanity. And he says to prevent all the discrimination in modern day, you have to go all the way back to where discrimination started and women and men has to start to be equal, so the whole discrimination will end in the 21st century. So which is, I think, is very true, and that's why there's a lot of opportunity for women to defend their lives and countries.
Very quick.
Okay, very quick. My name is Tessie Mulhall. I'm listening to you all talking about women agenda and women issue. I am the survivor of, I ran away from forced marriage, age 17, but age 14, my parents pulled me out of school. And they told me, and as I've gone all my life been told, I cannot do that. I cannot achieve this. And I always to say, why? They said, because you're a girl. And I say, damn that, because I'm a girl, I can do things that I can achieve. I was a homeless, I was in the street, I worked damn hard, and I had a great support for other people. Listen, and I'm those women who succeed. I'm a freelance photojournalist, I'm a campaigner, I'm an artist, the first British Yemeni artist in this country.
Bravo.
And I'm campaigning, I campaign, and we have at the moment have great support from Boris Johnson, Zach Goldsmith, Jonathan Rhys-Myers, James Franco. We're doing this campaign, it's dolls for child brides. It's a huge problem in Yemen. Girls youngest at 8. I'm from Yemen, I'm from Aden, and there's a huge problem. And I would like, if all the panel, please, if we can have photograph with the doll. And we're actually trying to put pressure into Yemen government and the embassy here to take this matter very seriously, because girls as young as 8, no one have a right to take your basic human right, education. And no culture, no religion, and no. So thank you.
Minister of Education, I traveled as an exhibitionist for art. I noticed the terrible discrimination against the Falun Gong practitioner in a school, in university, and ethnic community especially. Only the Leeds school in Cambridge very supportive, and the rest you need to tackle this, because true compassion for parents is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. I promise I would like to, before I hand over the conclusion of the evening to Robin Marsh, I would like to say this. When you leave here today, whatever opinions you have of the debate that we've had, whether it was good, bad or indifferent, whether you think that we've got plenty to do or that it's all hunky-dory and we don't have to do very much more, I think that I would like to just say to you on behalf of myself, who inspired me was a man who's sitting very patiently over there, has been incredibly patient for 36 years. And the thing is this, if we have people of both genders supporting each other, we can actually achieve much more. Now, we can have mediocrity, whether they are men, women. We can have excellence as well, be it men or women. But I'll tell you what we can't have. We can't have the same what we've had for zillions of years, as far as I'm concerned, of people thinking that there is no place for change. And to be quite frank, I've been on this mission for as long as I can remember too. And the only way I've managed to break as many glass ceilings as I possibly could was because I found excellent people around me. And those people are people like those in this room today. And if you want to make a change, I think somebody said, how do we do it? You go out there, you look at what you can do, and you do it. And when somebody says you can't, because of issues, you know what? Tell them the issues are with you, my friend, because I'm on a mission. And that's why we check.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming this evening. Actually, I'm surrounded by women. I have 4 daughters. And I've worked with Margaret for 16, 17 years. So you can see it's powerful when men and women can work together well. And Charlotte Simon is another woman I work with a lot, and she and I, and also Pauline Long and Justina Mutali, are going to have an event on DRC, on the Democratic Republic of Congo and its recovery. Next Friday, in 43 Lancaster Gate. If you need details, ask Charlotte, myself, Pauline, Justina. It's from 6 o'clock, and we'd love to see you there. And on April 12th, we will have an event on North Korea and the incredible suffering and human rights abuse of 22 million people in North Korea, supporting 2 million people of the elite. The slavery and particularly the abuse of the children in North Korea. So please keep in touch with us about that as well. Thank you very much for this evening. God bless you all.
I know today is the Women's Day, and I'm so happy about what you're talking about women. But there is some women, they don't know about their whiteness. I need you to encourage them about what is happening today.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But you saw the passion with which women on the panel were talking. And I think what we need to make sure is everybody who came today goes out and inspires another woman. That's the thing. Everybody go out and inspire one more woman.
So what we're gonna do about the women to be strong and to move on about the woman life?
Well, we've got to be able to, first of all, as mothers, teach our sons, as sisters, teach our brothers, and as wives, make sure our husbands understand that everything in the world should be of equal importance. So whether it's looking after children or working.
So what about the single women?
Single women, look, at the end of the day, we've made some progress. We're not made enough. There's lots to do. And whether it's single women, married women, daughters, mothers, all of us have got a role to play. But we can't play it by ourselves. We need to make sure our male fellows are with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it was great. At least a lot of women get to talk about their ideas and how it could be, we could advance the women's rights further. But I think, like one of the gentlemen said, it shouldn't only be once in 365 days, but I think we should do that more often. One day in a year is not enough for us. I think we have a lot of issues to solve, and I'm hoping we'll have.
What's your name, please?
My name is Michelle from Kurdish National Congress.
Today, Women's Day, is a very special day. It's a day to celebrate women, of course. It's a day to spread love. Yes.
About women, they don't have love. What you gonna encourage them?
I want to encourage every woman, absolutely every woman, to have love, because do you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Do you know why men are up there? Because men take each other up. Women, we don't take each other up. And this is something that should have been said here. I want to encourage every woman to hold another woman's hand. It doesn't matter if she does not come from Nigeria like you, or she doesn't come from Kenya like me. Hold another woman's hand and take the woman up, because that's the only way we're going to go up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
How are you?
I need you to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about Women's Day today. What do you think?
Well, I am one of the organizers with Robin Marsh from UPF. I thought it was a very good, a very varied group of people, and we had people from Baroness, and and each one spoke very well, and I was very happy to have a woman, young woman also in the panel, who's done great, with Shout Out UK. Also, I was very happy to have a man speak, because we have to work together with men. To work together with men to get the results. We cannot actually alienate them. We should include them, and we should inspire them to work with us and for us. And I think if we all go home and do something about women's inclusion and women's achievements, we will get there. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Baroness Meral Hussein Ejeh. I'm a Liberal Democrat member of the House of Lords, and I speak on gender inequalities for my party in the House of Lords. And I've been a lifelong campaigner for women's equality. I've campaigned against domestic violence, forced marriage, all those things passionately. And there is now, it's out in the open. These things never used to be talked about. Now they're talking more and more and raising awareness. So we've got to keep talking about these issues and empower women not to put up with it. There is help, there's places they can go to get support, they don't have to suffer, but we must all work together and help each other, help men and women, help other women who are suffering in silence. There is no excuse now in this country. The law is very firm and powers of arrest are with the police as well, but within families it's very hard for women to feel that they have the strength to come forward. So we must actually do more to let them know they're not alone. Thank you very much.
I need to say about Eliu, about women.
Women are stronger. They're the strongest factor. Women at the moment are actually keeping themselves down because they are a bit frightened to come forward on the grounds that they've been brought up to be the lower sect. I'm not like that. I'm a forward woman. I've got the strength of my conviction. I'm a politician. I dare wear angels fear to tread. I entered into the council in the council chamber in Harrow, and I was the first woman that ever sat in the council. I sat right in the front so that everybody could see me. I've served them 28 years. I was the first black mayor, and now I've got an OBE from the Queen, and I'm heading for the House of Lords.
Thank you.
Vraiment, message dans un anglais makasi mingi. J'espère que banda lelo tokotele mana mibali na basi pour que question na égalité et comment. Na lingina souk ça para ko féliciter ou para couvrir événement.
Merci. Okay, good evening, Robin. Can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Robin Marsh. I'm the Secretary General of Universal Peace Federation in the UK.
Today is a Women's Day. So what do you think about women? What men they need to help women to get up from the situation the woman they're passing through?
I think there are some major injustices which we need to deal with, but also I think there are some general abuses. The major ones, the prominent ones, is something we need to vehemently campaign on. Things like FGM, as it's been mentioned, but also things like the Congo and rape as a weapon of war, trafficking. Those are major issues that need to be really campaigned on very passionately. But then there is a more general education that needs to be undergone.
Do you have any encouragement for the women for this day?
I think this day is a very good marker, which we can take a photo of what is the snapshot, what is the current situation. But there are regular events and things that should be going on during the year. But this day is a very good marker of taking a stock of what's happening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Voilà kandi na bisaki bino ke place ya masolo ba mama ezali ba mama balinga kolamba biloko ya bien surtout pona ba fête lelo na laksibino secret place Charlie Show akotaka bomoni ali azokata nyama et surtout pona kotumba taba barbecue ba mama moyango ebini bosomba taba ya fresh o efandi na congélateur pendant longtemps te bosomba taba ya fresh et surtout oyo ezali na mafuta ebele te mpo na santé na biso. Nazwa bino minute ebele te nakolinga nanu ali expliquer biso mpo na ntina ya taba parce que toyebi ke bataba ebele komi na mikuwa papa oke na fete okolia bien te mama oza na fete okolia bien te mais ali alukeli biso solution mpo na ntina ya bafete alukeli biso solution mpo na ntina ya mabota na biso. Nakozwa bino minute ebele te nakolinga nanu natuna ye secret na ye botala ndenge bato batondi na shop boza welcome na kati ya West Boucherie. Nakozwa bino minute te botala. Wow, I see you are busy. Tell me a little bit about your meat.
Yeah, I got a lot of Congo customers. You know, the Congo customer, you want the barbecue for taba, and I cut small, nice one for the fresh and cheap price. When you test it, if not, I give you money back. I give you guaranteed my meat for the taba.
Kana ndenge nayebisaki bino ke nazaka liboso na bino mpona memela bino eloko ya kolendisa mabota na biso na kati ya communauté na biso toza na bamama oyo bazalaka na souci ya biso ya valeur ya biso ya bomama mama yo ozotala ngai nakolinga oyo apprendre nanu quelque chose soki ozalaki desi osi olemba mpona kobundela valeur ya biso bamama lelo toza na bamama baye lisusu mpona koencourage bino toza na mama kose présenter et puis akoyebisa biso mpona ntina valeur ya biso bamama et surtout lelo ezali mokolo ya bamama oyo tozobenga Mother's Day. Mama bonsoir.
Bonsoir maman, bonsoir.
Se présenter et puis oyebisa biso mpona ntina biso bavaleur ya biso bamama.
Nga komona maman Charlotte Bongumba, donc lelo toyaki na Parlement pour représenter jour ya ba maman pour na valeur ou ba maman valeur quoi puisque biso ba maman toza na valeur mingi.
Est-ce que vraiment que maman depuis tobandaki ko bunda nanu pour na tina valeur biso ba maman est-ce que récite ezali ou bien bazo reconnaître biso te partout dans le monde na mboka na biso awa pe na Angleterre parce que tu es na Parlement est-ce que bazo reconnaître valeur na biso ba maman te ou bien omoni que bazo reconnaître ngo
mais oyebi que tobandi ko bunda depuis kala ça fait maintenant 14 ans on a zongi après la guerre là na Kimaki. Depuis la mobilisation, maintenant, au moins les 3 dernières années, on a quand même reconnaître que ma maman congolaise a une valeur.
Comment on reconnaître? Est-ce que vous pouvez reconnaître? Ou bien vous allez na preuve que vous reconnaître? Votre solo vraiment reconnaître?
Reconnaître de sorte que là, tu connais le Parlement européen l'année dernière, au mois de décembre, non l'année d'avant. 2013, au mois de décembre, va reconnaître déjà que le Congo, maman, bazali na valeur. Bazo mona quand même que maman bazo telema. Preuve bazali.
Vous en avez preuve.
Même na Parlement oyo. La preuve que bon, j'ai quand même, on a beaucoup travaillé avec maman Dimanja, reconnaître Bisso, on a été nommé comme the African Achievers Award, Yango yo, Tolinto like Sabino, preuve ezali que Moussala Tozo Sala, bazako reconnaître que par l'Afrique, Afrique Mobimba, reconnaître que ezali Moussala Penza ya solo, donc c'est pas ça qui n'a Ghana. Na kendeki Ghana pour recevoir prix Oyo pour les moments viol na biso violence sexuelle ezakoleka na kati ya mboka ya Congo o tozakolobaki il faut ici là donc reconnaître que toza na raison Afrique mobimba telema ke jour
ba mama na koloba mingi te preuve aneke ba mama makasi bazali omoni que tomi beteli maboko toza na besoin honneur na biso ezonga bomona mama auti musika auti kozola bino wapi mama ozo yango wapi
nazongo na Ghana na Accra. Et puis, les cas qui n'importe où, les cas qui place Obama, après ça qui discours. Donc, ils allaient honneur mounene.
Honneur mounene. Il y a Obama, bazaki liputana et qui place Obama, zalinde ba reconnaître. Preuve aneke yango yo. Mozo mona.
Na ko même ko laksa billet d'avion, nyon sonazana.
Ils allaient honneur comment na ba mama bazo telema pona tina biso bo valeur so ba mama. Oza politicien te, mais aussi longtemps que biso maman topona kapasi yango mama a cascadé ake ko ela biso eloko donc toza reconnu que toza na droit valeur na biso na kozwa minute belete mama pesa biso
na lingi ko tia un point ezali que eloko ezali pona musala na biso nyonso ba mama ne to telemia biso nyonso ezala même yo Charlie Show nayebi que une fois oyaki na appartement nanga oyaki ko interroger nga sur le même sujet. Donc ozako salango sans relâche, ça veut dire que ozape na souci ya mboka na yo. Donc ezali pona biso nyonso ndenge totelemia tozali ko bundela mboka na biso. Ezali mutu moko te azobundela biso ba mama nde toza kotema siko totelemi. Donc bino so boya bobima na mandaku bobima devant ba télévision boya ko rejoindre biso ta biso ba mama toso komi ba mibange boye tozo linga bino ba jeune boya.
Mama balobi to ya mama balobi ba mama batelema mais ba mama bazu bata valeur na biso te. Yo na yebike soko beti sete kendaka vraiment mais lelo marteau te sete ka po ya soke bimezaka mabe olobi ni pona journée ba mama.
Journée ba mama d'abord na bi happy mother day. Happy mother day. Mama nyonso esika yo zali za na esengo po za mukolo na yo. Zala na esengo po lobela pe baninga. Biso tofani na poto yes tozolia. Tokolia tokena McDonald's tokolia. Bongo baza na Afrique. Bongo baza musika kuna na ba village. Tokolobela bango ndenge nini. Nga na beleli happy mother day. Mubatu mukira mtu bayoki. Bongo baza kuna na suka. Tala paso tozo mona. Tala ndenge tozo kokene. Tokene musika lelo tozaki na parlement. Poto loba kaka. Po ba yoka pe biso. Ba mona pe pasi ya biso wa mama. Soki mama boti mwana te. Mi bana nyonso bakoloba te. Il faut maman bota pote mobala ba ke oui naza na bana. Bongo ozaki na bana na sa mutu. Ozaki na bana po mwasi azalaki. Bo pesa biso valeur bino mibali na biso. Bo pesa biso valeur toza na posa nango. Vraiment boyo ka biso mawa. Na kosenga pe même mawa te parce que ça droit na biso. Toza ba mama ya valeur. Please. Botika makambo bozo sala biso vraiment talande bazo ko violer biso talande bazo ko kata biso ba sexe na biso ezali soni to ko expliquer bana biso eloko nini to ko bana bango eloko nini bana surtout botam na potwa to ko pesa mo explication nini taki bazo mona ngote na ba mindele ta ba mona ngote na ba bikolo mususu to ko expliquer bango nini please to za ba mama valeur mama te ofande siko zali ozolanda ngai na senga ka yo plus mikolo nyonso telema po ya ko joindre biso lelo to zaki na parlement to lobby ba yoki pe biso bino pe boya po so to za ta 100 ba oh baton ba komi ebele so to komi 2000 ba mais bazo ko se multiplier likambo e foto lo belango tala so yo za mama mwana zo tungisa yo mama chips lobi ko finir ko pesa yi please ba mama na ko belela bino tala eloko tozu eloko kitoko ba reconnaître biso mokili mobimba donc ba reconnaître ka biso to telemiate na bino moto bozala bandako ba reconnaître bino nazo senga bino boko ko joindre biso merci
voilà na swana na ba mama msusu koto na babi mama na ndako soka telemi ndako ezalaki to mama osana esengo te lelo eza mokona biso ba reconnaître biso te olobi nini mpona journal lelo
kombo na nga nanu mama Cécile Kabamba en tout cas naza na esengo mpona mokolo ya lelo ndenge parlement ebengisi bamama nyonso tu ya babikolo na bikolo tozaka biso moko te mpo toya kofete Mother's Day. Mais naza na mwa mawa po bandeko musu tomoni ba yebele mais biso ba congolaise tolala ka pongi foto la muka po soki biso moko tomipesi valeur wana te valeur na ba lukango na mutu musu te po yo moko mwasi il faut miyeba ozali mwasi mais so yo moko ozo miyeba te koza mwasi soko monika likamuke ate bango bakende non oye oya koyoka oloba oyo pesa na kati na yo o ba memango na changement po okolela kaka batu ba boma batu kuna ba kosola bo mais non yaka kolobe pa batu oyo bangonde bakokozala na liloba ya kwikeno koloba po bangonde batu bazosala makabango ezalaka yango wana kosambeleza malamu ya mabete mais il faut yebaka ke kobundela mboka eza bien po soki yo za na kimia te okene kosambela ndenge nini soki yo lingo okende place yango ya kosambela okuta na batu ba viole yo okene so kosambela malamu lukana no kimia bongo na sima makamu nyonso tu wana nzamba kopesa yo yango.
Merci beaucoup. Voilà bozoka souci ya ba mama mena koswana na mama oyo ye wane komanda kuna ye alembaka ngo te abi aussi longtemps nanu ba lelo ba reconnaître biso ba mama ke tozomona pasi na mboka mais alobi akotika te tant que ba mama musu bazolelaka. Mama bonsoir.
Bonsoir Charlie Show.
Wana ekoma ndako na yo yo mutu osala biso toyeba ndako wana lelo mpe soki tobimi na bandako na biso ezali grâce koyebi ke lelo ezali Mother's Day tolingi tosele ebele baza même mpe na likanisi wana te ke Mother's Day toya na biso toti oselebo yango koto mais mosusu bazoprépare kolia komela mais yo olobi ke ava tolia tomela toya nanu koto place ba reconnaître biso yo ntaki mama olobi nini?
Nalobi ezali esengo na mawa puisque tomoni mama na biso mama Charlotte ba reconnaître na Ghana na Afrique ba invité ba pesier prix wana pona kumona musala oyo ba mama congolaise baza kusala ba reconnaître moko na biso c'est-à-dire ba reconnaître biso nyonso na musala oyo toza kusala wapona kolobela bandeko na biso ya basi bana na biso basi na mibali bandeko na biso pe ya mibali oyo baza violé tout le temps na Congo. Et puis mokile komi koyoka mungongo mama congolaise puisque liboso ezalika bato musu balobelaka biso et puis modèle bazolobela yango pe ya ndenge makambo ezolekana na mboka te mais siko mama congolaise atelemi akomi kolobela komi lobela kolobela bandeko na ye kolobela mboka na ye et puis tozwi prix oyo ya honorer biso ba mama congolaise biza ko encourager biso pona ko continuer combat ndenge touti koyebisa bango kuna ke tokotika te kino tokomona changement yango nde mawa pona ba mama musu batelemi te. Mais problème ezate to continuer kaka kusala makelele kuna changement ekota na mukilo na mboka na biso soki mwasi moko akoyesa ka mukili mobimba na nzela masumu mwasi moko pe akoki kotombola mukili mobimba pe kimia ezonga na mboka na biso.
Merci beaucoup. Voilà, na rozobino minute belete journaliste pour journaliste auti musika mais pour na souci ya biso ba mama alobi na ko mena bino information. Je crois après awa akolinga pese lango pe na place na ito bolanda ke ebele azama mate ya moko kitoko na linga ka epo ayaka pona ko bakisa isusu un plus na communauté na biso mama Bea. Bonsoir maman.
Bonsoir maman.
Voilà na moni yo lelo na parlement pour mena biso isusu un plus a rolendisa mabota na biso yo en tant que maman pona valeur ya biso ba maman message noza nango pona bandeko bazolanda biso.
En tout cas message na ngai maman Charlie ezaka kana zo sala peine na ba maman ke na ba organisation nyonso to salaka na ba appel nyonso to salaka il faut to telema po ba mama tant ebele bazo comprendre te bazo mona tant susu likambo eza pona mama Charlotte eza pona mama Dimanja eza mais biso to rolemba te tozo sala appel afin que ba mama na nyonso na ba organisation nyonso to banda ko sala ba yaka parce que lelo to ye na parlement quand même mama Dimanja a pesaki asalaki moi comment na ye na ba interview ndenge ba lobaki tout biso pe to lobi pona mboka na biso que quand même ba reconnaître que biso parce que au monde Europe ba on baza ko reconnaître pour exemple mboka loi yango toza ko beta CTR nyo surtout que ba reconnaître pe biso pour bazo violer bazo boma alors yango na mama yo oyo orataki mkola lelo à la prochaine occasion ceux qui tozo ko inviter au tu na pas molo mama mususu balanda inga na salle émission na longwe na studio na ye directement na parlement donc souci à mboka ozomona donc même AOP na UK na communauté na biso ezaka na mboka te mais avant to kende pe na mboka to lindo to sukola pe na communauté na biso ezana ba abuse makambo ebele o ezosala na communauté to luka pe to luka kokota na profondeur pour na ko aider. Donc c'est un peu ça mais interview na osala souté na ko sepela na exploiter ba image oyo ndenge sali tout poto l'exango pe na image na biso on l'appellera femme parce que toza basi ba ndeko bele pe ba landango et puis to senga ba image batala ba image ndenge tozaki na parlement donc c'est un peu ça quoi.
Voilà je crois na kozwa bino minute ebele te ma ba susu nini ba biso ki ba mama mibale misatu ba telemi ba mama to telema mama yango aussi longtemps na tomoni o toza nango besoin te ba mama to telema tozo senga na bino tozo supplier bino ke to tema et surtout pour la valeur ya biso ba mama nde to botaka ba papa soki mama yo balobi ava ba bana ko attaquer pays ba bandaka na mama yango moni lelo bazo détruire biso ba mama po ba yeba kokota na kati na mboka na biso ba mama nyonso bozolanda nga botelema eza bien pona lokumu ya mboka na biso et surtout valeur ya biso ba mama je crois mama Bea soki okobakisa quelque chose pona bao bakolanda na émission na yo.
Ok, et que zanga tenga nazo remercier parce que tu travailles en collaboration. Merci no pour la présence na yo et puis papa na biso na caméra papa Francis azo sunga biso puis ba maman na biso naza minga robakisa te nazo salaka appel na ba maman nde na ote koloba à la prochaine to zanga te
so to yoki likambo photo télé mais oza na Manchester oza na Leeds oza wapi Londres eza capitale quand même photo ningana to bouger osali wa 5 ans 10 ans tant susu oyebi parlement te mais na ba occasion boye to au moins to créer ba relation to créer ba relation na bato susu awa on ne sait jamais alors na ba relation ko me mabiso pe na place o tozo linga ke mitema na biso sepela pour na mboka na biso Congo. Ouais, par reconnaître ouais, grâce à relation. Donc c'est un peu ça, Nzamba Pamboula yo, maman Charlie et puis papa na réalisation papa Francis et puis maman surtout donc na bosa interpelle les messagers parce que na yebi un jour police a ça qui biso alobi que soki binomo ko bolandeli likambo te biso moye to landela ngo ezate alors biso ba congolais to za so to bandi likambo to komi na katika to lembi mais biso ba mama na mbalo to bi to ko lemba te ti to komona make non na communauté photo sukola yango ezala ti ava to koma na mboka to bandi na communauté pe to keti na mboka donc c'est un peu ça merci.
Voilà tokomi presque na suka émission na biso tolingaki tomela bino kaka quelque chose pona ko lendisa et surtout ba maman vraiment na kosenga na bino bato nyonso bozolanda biso bolanda biso na Chemintv esika tozozwa information ya kolendisa pe kosunga mabota na biso en tout cas merci beaucoup na bwa Martin le temple et surtout ayebi valera ba maman Nzamba Pambola yo abaksali susu ebele bisiko zali merci na cameraman na biso Fasi Pro Digital voilà tolinga kabino yango toyela kabino un plus pona kosunga mabota na biso tokuta isusu mbala sima merci beaucoup bye bye bye.